I was carefully wrapping the custom diamond necklace I had ordered for my mother Carol's 60th birthday party, a $2,000 piece that had taken me a month to design with the jeweler. As a senior marketing director at Pinnacle Communications, I wanted the celebration to be perfect for the woman who raised me. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom that made my heart stop. "I am uninviting you from my birthday party. You do not look good standing next to Sophia's new boyfriend Tyler, and I want the photos to be perfect." I stared at the message in disbelief, then something clicked. That name, Tyler, sounded familiar. Before I tell you how I discovered the most satisfying twist that destroyed their perfect little fairy tale, drop a comment telling me where you are watching from and hit that like button if you have ever felt like the family disappointment. Subscribe, because when I realized who Tyler actually was, their whole world came crashing down in the most beautiful way possible. Let me give you the full picture of what my family dynamic has always been like. At 32, I have built a successful career from absolutely nothing, climbing from an entry-level marketing assistant to senior marketing director at one of the biggest communications companies in the country. My annual salary sits comfortably in the six figures, and I have worked 16-hour days for the past decade to get where I am. But in my family, none of that has ever seemed to matter as much as appearance. My mother, Carol, has always been obsessed with how things look on the surface. Social status designer clothes, perfect photos for her social media accounts. She measures success by how much attention you can attract, not by what you have actually accomplished. While I focused on building my career, my younger sister, Sophia, who is 26, became a part-time Instagram model with a modest following. She has never held a traditional job for more than a few months, but she photographs beautifully and knows exactly how to present herself for maximum visual impact. Growing up, the differences between Sophia and me were constantly highlighted. Where Sophia was feminine, I was called masculine. Where she was naturally photogenic, I was told I needed to try harder with my appearance. While she learned to curl her hair and apply perfect makeup, I was studying business management and working part-time jobs to save for college. My mother never missed an opportunity to point out that I dressed too professionally, wore too little makeup, and generally did not put enough effort into being traditionally attractive. The pattern became clear early on. At family gatherings, Sophia would be positioned front and center in every photo, while I was relegated to the background or asked to step aside entirely so I would not detract from the visual appeal of the shot. During holiday dinners, conversations would revolve around Sophia's latest modeling gig or dating adventures, while my professional achievements were briefly acknowledged before moving on to more exciting topics. Despite feeling like the invisible daughter for most of my life, I continued to financially support my family whenever they needed it. I paid for Sophia's community college courses when she briefly attempted to get a degree. When Mom wanted to move to a better neighborhood, I provided the down payment for her new house. When Sophia needed help with credit card debt from her shopping habits, I quietly covered the payments without expecting recognition or gratitude. 3 months ago, Sophia started dating someone named Tyler, who she introduced to the family as a financial consultant. Mom was immediately impressed by his appearance and his claimed success in the business world. Tyler was tall, conventionally handsome, and dressed in expensive suits that gave the impression of wealth and status. He quickly became the golden boy of family dinners, with Mom hanging on his every word about market trends and investment strategies. During recent family gatherings, I watched Tyler receive the kind of attention and respect that I had never experienced despite years of actual professional success. He would dominate conversations with confident assertions about business principles that often sounded impressive but lacked substance. When I tried to contribute to these discussions based on my real-world experience in corporate management, Tyler would dismiss my input with comments like marketing being an easy job for people who could not handle real business challenges. The most painful moment came during a family dinner 2 weeks earlier when Tyler suggested that I should try harder with my appearance if I wanted to find someone to settle down with. Sophia and Mom both laughed at his observation, treating it like helpful advice rather than the insulting comment it actually was. That night, I went home, questioning everything about myself and wondering if my family would ever see me as more than just a financial safety net. For Mom's birthday celebration, I had spent weeks planning every detail. I booked a table at the most exclusive restaurant in town, arranged for a custom video message from relatives across the country, and personally selected gifts that I knew would make her feel special. The total investment was over $2,000, not including the time and emotional energy I had poured into making this milestone birthday unforgettable. When I received that text message uninviting me from the party, the name Tyler triggered a memory that I could not quite place. I knew I had heard that name recently in a professional context, but the connection was not immediately clear. What was crystal clear was the message my mother was sending my presence would somehow diminish the visual appeal of their celebration, and Tyler's comfort was more important than my feelings. Determined to figure out why Tyler's name sounded so familiar, I opened Sophia's Instagram account to look at the photos she had been posting with her new boyfriend. The moment I saw his face, clearly recognition hit me like a lightning bolt. Tyler Matthews was not just some successful financial consultant that my sister was dating. He was a junior analyst who worked directly under my supervision at Pinnacle Communications, and he had been one of my most problematic employees for the past 8 months. My mind immediately flashed back to his employment file and recent performance reviews. Tyler had been hired as an entry-level financial analyst with an annual salary of $45,000, which was exactly 1/4 of what I earned as his supervisor. His work was consistently mediocre at best, with reports that were often submitted late and required significant revision before they met our company standards. Just last month, he had approached me requesting an advance on his salary for what he claimed were emergency expenses, though he had been vague about the details. As I scrolled through more of Sophia's photos, I began to piece together the elaborate web of lies that Tyler had constructed about his professional life. According to the stories he had told my family, he was a senior financial consultant, managing high-profile client portfolios and earning substantial commissions on successful investments. The reality could not have been more different. He spent his days creating basic spreadsheets and conducting preliminary research for actual financial advisors who handled the real client relationships. I pulled out my phone and sent a careful text to my mother asking her to tell me more about Tyler's impressive career. Her response was filled with pride as she listed his fabricated credentials, advanced degrees he had never earned, professional certifications that did not exist on his resume, and a senior position at a prestigious firm that was actually my company. Every single detail was either completely false or grossly exaggerated. The next morning at work, I found myself observing Tyler with completely new eyes. During our team meeting, he mentioned having plans with his girlfriend's family without any awareness that I was connected to that family. He bragged to coworkers about how he was impressing his potential future in-laws with his success and sophistication. I noticed that he had been wearing more expensive clothing lately, suits and accessories that were far beyond what someone with his salary could reasonably afford. When I checked his attendance records, I discovered that Tyler had been calling in sick frequently over the past 3 months, which coincidentally aligned with the timeline of his relationship with Sophia. His excuses were always vague, claiming stomach issues or minor illnesses that conveniently occurred on days when he probably had dates or family events with my sister. This pattern of dishonesty was adding up to grounds for disciplinary action. That evening, I remembered the family dinner, where Tyler had been particularly condescending toward my career. He had explained to everyone that marketing was essentially a support function for people who were not smart enough to work in real business operations like finance. He suggested that my job was mostly about creating pretty advertisements and managing social media accounts, completely dismissing the strategic planning, budget management, and team leadership that actually comprised my daily responsibilities. The memory of my family laughing along with his assessment still stung. I spent the weekend conducting a thorough review of Tyler's employment file, and what I discovered was even worse than I had initially suspected. His resume contained several discrepancies that had somehow been overlooked during the initial hiring process, including a college degree from a university that had no record of his enrollment. His references were from previous employers who, when I discreetly contacted them, described his performance in terms that were much less favorable than what appeared in his application materials. By Sunday evening, I had developed a perfect plan. Tyler had no idea that I was Sophia's sister, which gave me a significant advantage in timing my response. His quarterly performance review was scheduled for the following week, and as his direct supervisor, I had complete authority to recommend disciplinary action up to and including termination. More importantly, company policy was very clear about employees who provided false information during the hiring process or who demonstrated patterns of dishonesty in their professional conduct. The morning of Mom's birthday party, I made a decision that would change everything for my family and for Tyler's carefully constructed facade. Instead of accepting my uninvitation quietly, I was going to attend the celebration and give everyone exactly what they had asked for. I booked an appointment at the most expensive salon in town for a complete makeover professional styling makeup application and a designer dress that showed I could play their superficial game when I chose to. When I walked into the restaurant that evening, carrying beautifully wrapped gifts, the shocked expression on Tyler's face told me everything I needed to know. He recognized me immediately as his boss, but he clearly had not made the connection that I was also the sister he had been helping to exclude from family events. His face went pale as he watched me approach the table, and I could see his mind racing to figure out how to handle this unexpected collision of his personal and professional worlds. I joined the conversation naturally, greeting my family with warm hugs and compliments, while Tyler tried desperately to avoid making eye contact with me. The other guests at the party were curious about my transformation, commenting on how lovely I looked and asking about my dress. Mom seemed confused by my presence, but was too polite to create a scene in front of her other guests. Sophia looked nervous, probably wondering if I was going to cause drama about being uninvited. After about 20 minutes of small talk, I decided it was time to drop the first bomb. Turning to Tyler with a sweet smile, I said, "Oh, Tyler, I did not expect to see you here. We work together, do we not?" The color drained completely from his face as every person at the table turned to look at him. Sophia's expression shifted from confusion to concern as she realized there was something her boyfriend had not told her about his job. Tyler stammered something about how it was such a small world and what a coincidence this was. But I was not finished yet. Actually, I continued in the same friendly tone, "I think there might be some confusion about your position at our company. Did you not tell everyone you were a senior financial consultant?" The silence at the table was deafening as Tyler's lies began to unravel in real time. When Tyler tried to claim that there must be some misunderstanding, I reached into my purse and pulled out my business card, placing it gently on the table. "I am actually your direct supervisor," I explained to the stunned faces around me. "Tyler is a junior analyst in my department, not a senior consultant. I think there might have been some miscommunication about his job responsibilities and salary level." The explosion that followed was everything I could have hoped for and more. Sophia immediately began demanding explanations from Tyler about why he had lied to her and her family. Mom was mortified that she had been bragging to her friends about her daughter's successful boyfriend when he was actually just an entry-level employee. Tyler tried desperately to minimize the situation, claiming that he had been exaggerating slightly, but that his intentions were good. I maintained perfect professional composure as I calmly corrected each of Tyler's lies with factual information about his actual job performance and compensation. When he claimed to be on track for a promotion, I mentioned his recent performance reviews that indicated he needed significant improvement in several areas. When he tried to suggest that his position was more senior than I was describing, I politely noted that I would be conducting his quarterly review the following week. The final nail in the coffin came when I mentioned that his employment would need to be carefully reviewed in light of company policies regarding honesty and integrity in the workplace. Tyler realized that his job was now at serious risk, and he began begging me to have a private conversation where he could explain his perspective. I declined, gracefully explaining that all employment matters would be handled through proper professional channels during business hours. Tyler left the party in complete humiliation, followed by Sophia, who was screaming at him about how he had embarrassed her in front of the entire family. The remaining guests sat in stunned silence as they processed what they had just witnessed. Mom looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor, finally understanding how badly she had misjudged both Tyler and me. In the aftermath of Tyler's dramatic exit, I presented Mom with the expensive gifts I had brought, including the custom necklace that had cost more than Tyler earned in a month. I delivered a gracious speech about the importance of family honesty and celebrating the people who truly love and support us. Then I left the party with my dignity completely intact, knowing that Tyler's reputation and relationship were both destroyed beyond repair. Monday morning at the office brought the satisfying conclusion to Tyler's deception. He called in sick again, then sent a resignation email later that afternoon claiming he had found a better opportunity elsewhere. The HR department was very interested in reviewing his file after I reported the discrepancies I had discovered in his background information. His sudden departure created an opportunity to promote an honest, hard-working employee who deserved the advancement. The aftermath of that birthday party changed my family dynamics forever, and all for the better. Sophia broke up with Tyler immediately after discovering the full extent of his lies, realizing that she had been dating someone who was willing to deceive her about fundamental aspects of his life. She felt humiliated that she had introduced a fraud to the family and had participated in excluding me from events based on his supposed success and status. Tyler's social circle quickly learned about his exposure and the dramatic way his lies had been revealed. Within weeks, he was forced to move back in with his parents because he could no longer afford his apartment without the job he had lost. His reputation in our local professional community was permanently damaged, making it extremely difficult for him to find new employment at anywhere near the level he had been claiming to occupy. Most importantly, my mother finally began to understand the years of unfair treatment she had subjected me to, based purely on appearance and social perception. She called me several days after the party to deliver a heartfelt apology, acknowledging that she had consistently favored Sophia and overlooked my genuine accomplishments in pursuit of superficial ideals. For the first time in my adult life, she expressed pride in my professional success and admitted that she had been wrong to prioritize how things looked over how things actually were. The three of us began attending family therapy sessions to address the long-term patterns that had created such dysfunction in our relationships. Mom had to confront her own insecurities about social status and appearance, while Sophia and I worked on building a more authentic sisterly connection based on mutual respect rather than competition. These sessions were not easy, but they were necessary for creating healthier family dynamics moving forward. My professional life also benefited significantly from how I had handled the Tyler situation. Upper management was impressed by the way I had maintained my composure and professionalism while dealing with a difficult employee who had also been personally attacking me. Within 6 months, I was promoted to Vice President of Marketing with expanded responsibilities and a team of directors reporting to me. The company even used my handling of the ethics violation as a case study in their leadership training programs. The confidence boost from finally standing up for myself had positive effects in every area of my life. I upgraded my professional wardrobe with clothes that made me feel powerful and attractive on my own terms, not according to someone else's definition of feminine appeal. My dating life improved dramatically as my newfound self-assurance attracted partners who appreciate intelligence and integrity over conventional beauty standards. A year after the birthday party incident, Tyler was still struggling to rebuild his life and career from the ground up. His pattern of lying to romantic partners had been exposed, making it difficult for him to maintain relationships even when he tried to be honest. He was eventually forced to take a job in retail while he attempted to repair his professional reputation, earning a fraction of what he had been making under my supervision. Meanwhile, my family relationships had evolved into something healthier and more genuine than they had ever been before. Mom now includes me equally in family photos and events, focusing on celebrating my actual achievements rather than criticizing my appearance. Sophia is dating someone who values honesty and treats her with real respect, having learned from her experience with Tyler about the importance of looking beneath surface impressions. Our holiday gatherings now revolve around meaningful conversations about our lives and accomplishments rather than superficial discussions about appearance and status. Extended family members have gained a new respect for my professional success and the stability I have brought to our family through my financial support over the years. The dynamic has shifted from one where I felt like an outsider to one where I am recognized as a successful leader. My career continued to flourish as I took on speaking engagements at professional conferences about integrity in leadership and workplace ethics. I began mentoring other women who were struggling with confidence issues related to not fitting conventional beauty standards in corporate environments. The Tyler incident had taught me that professional competence and moral character are far more attractive qualities than any amount of superficial charm. The personal relationships I built after gaining this confidence were deeper and more fulfilling than anything I had experienced before. I started dating someone who was genuinely impressed by my intelligence and career achievements, someone who supported my ambitions rather than trying to diminish them. The contrast with my family's previous treatment was stark, and it helped me understand what genuine respect and admiration actually looked like. Perhaps most importantly, I learned that my worth had never been determined by how I looked standing next to anyone else. The birthday party incident taught me that family members who truly love you will never ask you to be less than who you are to make someone else more comfortable. Professional success combined with integrity is incredibly attractive, and standing up for yourself teaches others exactly how they should treat you. Today, I run a department of 45 employees with a budget of $12 million. I speak at universities about career development and workplace ethics. My family relationships are based on mutual respect and genuine appreciation for each other's strengths. Most importantly, I have learned that the most beautiful thing about any celebration is not the decorations or designer clothes, but watching honesty triumph over pretense. They say you should never mix business with pleasure, but sometimes life mixes them for you. Tyler learned that lies have expiration dates, and I learned that my worth was never determined by how I looked standing next to anyone else. The most beautiful thing about that birthday party was not the decorations or the designer dresses, but watching honesty finally win over pretense. Have you ever been excluded from family events because of how you look or what others think of you? Have you ever discovered that someone was lying about their success to impress people you care about? Share your story in the comments below and let me know how you handled standing up for yourself. Do not forget to hit that like button if this story reminded you that your value comes from your character and achievements, not from other people's opinions. Subscribe for more stories about family drama, workplace justice, and finding the courage to demand the respect you deserve. Please share this video with anyone who needs to hear that professional success speaks louder than any designer outfit. Remember, true beauty comes from confidence, integrity, and treating others with respect, and sometimes the best revenge is simply being authentically successful. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it inspires you to value yourself based on your real accomplishments rather than anyone else's superficial standards.